Hello, I'm Assemblyman Dennis Gabryszak, and welcome to Assembly Update. I'm joined today by two guests from Scope. We're going to talk a little bit about sportsmen and then about guns rights. We have with us the president of Scope, Stephen Allstott, and also the chairman of the board of directors, Bud Schroeder. Any other pieces of legislation that that's out there that that Scope is supportive of?
One of the things that we're in support of is a bill that would remove funding from the COBIS, or Combined Ballistic Identification System, in New York State. It's a system that mandates that any new handgun is fired and has the casing sent to the state police for ballistic imaging, and then it's kept in a database. The problem with it is that the FBI has a database of crime guns, and they take the ballistic imaging from those, and it's a very useful forensic tool for crime fighting. The problem with this COBIS system is that, number one, none of these guns have been used in a crime. They're all brand new guns. And they're all brand new guns registered to lawfully licensed users. So it's not likely that any of these guns are going to be involved in a crime in any way. The probability is almost astronomical. In fact, to date, this system has not solved a single crime in New York State. It's a colossal waste of taxpayers' money. The other problem is that since it's all brand new guns that these images are taken from, the higher quality and the better machining of manufacture for these new guns means that the less likely you're going to find any differences in these images. So you get a vast database of images that are really unusable, and it costs millions of dollars a year. And in a time when you're facing a budget shortfall of some $9 billion,
right now.
It's a place where millions can be saved.
In terms of some of the legislation that's out there, I know one of the areas that we talked about was the pistol license renewal.
Yes.
Can we talk about that? And because, quite honestly, when we sat down and we talked about some of the things that you want to see changed in it, it really does make good sense. I believe there's some judicial discretion that's involved in this. So, Bud, you want to talk about that?
Well, it sounds like they're looking for a cure where there's no disease, because the way it works now, a lifetime license is functional. There's not a problem. I haven't heard any violent crime that's a result of not leaving it alone. What it will do is drive up the cost tremendously. Now, for example, in Erie County, which I'm very familiar with, it takes anywhere from 6 months to a year to process a pistol permit. They have 4 full-time people in that office. Now, if you figure their last estimate, they have 70,000 people in the system in Erie County alone. They have 4 people that handles about 2,000 applications a year, and they're always behind. If you added this extra burden of every 5 years, adding another 13,000 or 14,000 people for renewal, we kind of did a ballpark figure on that. That would raise the county clerk's budget by another $500,000 or $500,000, $500,000 a year, just to be able to try to keep up with the influx of the business that would come through renewals. Now, there's no need for it. It's very expensive, and therefore we're against it.
And this is why the majority of the county clerks are against it as well, because they just don't have the staff, and they're not really interested in building a bigger and bigger bureaucracy that it's going to, once you get people in, and it's more jobs, there's more people on the state pension, that's going to cause more troubles with the budget. The other major problem with the idea of making these permits renewable is New York State is the only state where you need a license for simple possession. In most states, you can buy it as long as you can pass your background check like any other gun, but in order to carry concealed, you have to have a license. In New York State, just simply to possess it, you need the license. So if your license were to lapse for any reason, if your check got lost in the mail, or if there was some bureaucratic snafu, or for whatever the reason it was, all of a sudden, just for keeping your own property in your home, suddenly you become in illegal possession, you become a criminal.
I think the job that you do, in terms of bringing these issues to the legislators, I know it's very important for us, because quite honestly, if we didn't have people advocating coming to Albany and giving us the information that we are receiving, that you're bringing forward, and the type of legislation that's needed goes a long way in helping us to address some of those issues that we have, issues that are concerning. And I think in a lot of times it's just common sense issues that that we talked about. I know in terms of the pistol license renewal, I think that's something that you have some definite valid points about, and I know as we go through the process, there's discussion that continues on this, and I think in the coming weeks we'll be having some of the legislation we'll be dealing with on the floor. Gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming on the program tonight. And Steve, do you want to talk a little bit about if there's anyone out there, any one of the viewers are looking for some information,
Sure.
How to contact Scope?
Absolutely. You can go to our website, scopeny.org. That's SCOPENY.org, and you get contact information for any of us. There's also information there about pending legislation, and we have position papers on our positions. Or they can call me directly if you like. I'll give my phone number. It's 716-846-5448.
Great. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us on Assembly Update. See you again next week.
Thank you.